Welcome to Happily Ever Aftermath,
the podcast where we discuss relationships in movies and our relationships with them.
I'm Polina Grunbaum.
And I'm Diana Rojek-Sconard.
Hello, Diana.
Hey, Polina, guess what?
Guess what?
I
don't know what.
Well,
that didn't go according to plan.
it really did.
I'm
but
sorry.
We promised friends. We brought friends.
We did.
We brought friends.
Well, we brought ourselves two friends.
Okay, so
to be specific, to be pedantic.
This is not going well. We've got Steve and Izzy.
Yes.
From Everything I Learned from Movies.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Tonight.
You're recording from Pants Off Podcast Studio.
Yeah.
I didn't get that memo.
I didn't either.
Well, you need to take
I'm
your pants
wearing
off.
very comfortable pants.
I'm not wearing pants.
Maybe. I wish I'd known.
No.
Everyone in this room can confirm that I am not wearing pants.
I also am not wearing pants, but I didn't get the
Neither are
memo
you.
either.
Oh, well.
It just lucked out.
That's okay.
But two of us are wearing pants. I just to be clear, there are 4 people in this room, and 2 of them are wearing pants. So,
Now that we've
but
alienated-
voluntarily, like I'm
So
very
you can
happy.
have your pants on or off.
Yeah.
But at any rate, we are here to talk about Revenge of the Nerds.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what?
Yes, we are.
It's an 80s movie. Who would have thought we'd pick an 80s
Isn't that
movie?
weird? It's like a whole different podcast.
1984, and thank you for Google for giving me this description. Geeky college students Gilbert, Anthony Edwards, and Lewis, Robert Carradine, are evicted from their dormitory when the Alpha Betas, who recently burned down their own fraternity house by accident, okay, a little editorial, by accident, air quotes that can't be seen
In that
because
they
it's a
didn't put
podcast.
out the fire that they started by accident, instead stared at it.
So they
'Cause-
confiscate the building. That's the end of the sentence. When the college forces the freshmen to live in the gym, Gilbert, Lewis, and their fellow dorks relocate to a rundown house. When the Alpha Betas, led by jock Stan Gable, I'm gonna throw that in there, Ted McGinley, repeatedly humiliate them, the nerds plot revenge. So it's right in the title, Revenge of the Nerds. Way to
Very
go.
fitting, yeah.
And it has a very, very catchy theme song, which I
Steve!
cannot stop
Left at our
singing.
boots, they left at our hair. Yeah.
So go ahead, put us down. One of these. That's
days
right there,
we'll
right there. We don't have the
turn
rights.
around.
We don't have the rights. Okay. Steve, this was your movie suggestion, and
It
I'm
was.
wondering, as we ask all these people, what is your relationship with this movie?
A lot better than this cat. I'm gonna chill real quick. But,
I apologize to all the Aftermath
That's okay.
listeners. They are here, and if you've ever listened to our podcast, we have the notorious supervillain Castor Troy in cat form trying to destroy the podcast. I
Hey,
apologize.
there's a cameo by Mr. Pickles.
Damn it, Pickles.
Introducing Pickles.
Alright. Sorry, Steve.
Oh, yeah, so my relationship with this movie is it was
Revenge
one
of
of
the
the 5 or 6 movies that I had growing up as a kid with the VHS tapes.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it was this, and then like right after was Muppets Take Manhattan or something
Yo!
like
Also,
that.
that was a big movie of my childhood
That
as
is a
well.
great double feature.
Right?
And one is a palate cleanser of the other, depending on the order.
It really is. And
Question.
for 5-year-old Steve or whatever, and he was watching this, I mean, most 5-year-olds probably shouldn't watch Revenge of the Nerds.
I'm
1,000
gonna say
times,
no.
but-
That's not something I endorse.
Well, follow-up question. Now, was this recorded off of television, or was it an actual VHS of the
Oh,
theatrical?
it was a VHS copy of another VHS that was rented, you know, at like half speed or whatever. You know, usually could fit like 2 or 3 on there,
Oh,
depending on
yeah.
the speed.
When
Yeah.
they came up with like 1/3 speed, that was like
Yeah.
the best.
Oh, that was a
Like
beautiful
8
time.
hours.
But it wasn't the panty raid edition.
No, it wasn't with commentary tracks and all the deleted scenes and you know featurettes. But
Yeah, but
but that
that's-
is also right here for us nowadays.
Yeah, we have access to that if should we desire.
Well, 5-year-old Steve wouldn't have been probably appreciated the idea of special features.
I mean, he might have.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Side note: in the '90s, do you guys remember those little movie magic, like 30-minute movie magic shows they had, like with Saturday cartoons,
Yes.
kind of mixed in there?
Yep.
And I remember very specifically one of them was like Demolition Man when it was being made, and it was like Sylvester Stallone and the whole harness moving
Oh,
around,
my God.
and like how they filmed it, and they got all the fog machines going and stuff. I love those as a kid. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that's
so,
pretty cool.
So I don't know how to work exactly with this movie. Like, oh yeah, the carnival was built around.
Yeah.
See, we knew we had to handle the
room.
rape scene very delicately,
Yeah.
so we got a moonwalk area.
Fun fact: the pies were actually made with shaving cream because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
And texture.
And they didn't melt on set,
It didn't-
unlike the
it didn't
whipped
film
cream. Yeah.
the right way.
Yeah.
You know?
It did start to eat at the photo.
It's like
underneath.
it's like back in the day when ice cream cones were really mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
It's because it looked dark on film. Yeah.
All the things that make the movies great.
Yeah.
So good.
Are in this film.
Very important, because you brought it up yourself, and then you can't not talk about this.
Mhm.
Polina was kind of a blank slate to this movie, and so while Steve and I...
Not enough.
Not, oh, jeez.
Not nearly enough.
So Steve,
Mhm.
5-year-old Steve, watched this.
Mhm.
Diana, I would say approximately 13-year-old Diana watched this, but she also watched edited off a Comedy Central version of it on repeat, so I definitely remember... well, I looked at this. This movie's an hour and a half. And I'm trying to figure out, wait a minute, I watched this edited on television, and of course the commercials pad in the middle, but did I watch like an hour 15 of this movie? They cut out so much stuff.
I can't imagine them not showing. There's definitely, like, as I was watching it, it was like, I was like, there's no way if you saw this on television would you see this. There's no way if you saw it on television you'd see that.
I can actually sit down with you and say, no, they cut that out. No, they cut that out. No, they definitely cut that out.
Yeah.
In fact, even some of the edits, just like, my favorite line from this movie is "We forgot to practice," said by John Goodman after one of the revenge pranks, which is fantastic. But apparently the actual line is "Shit, we forgot to practice."
Yeah.
So you can actually see the bad dubbing, but it's a movie where if it was bad dubbing or not, it may have been the original. It could have been the edited on television version.
Yeah.
So it could be either.
My favorite line from this movie is, "These nerds are a threat to my way of life." Which I just felt, I was like, it rescued the entire movie for me.
That seems to be a shirt.
Yes.
That actually, write that down. Write that down. Shirts. These nerds are a threat to our way of life. So, okay, so 5-year-old Steve, did you watch it and then do a double feature and then rewind it, watch it again?
Oh yeah, watched a lot as a kid. I'm not gonna lie. And it was really the whole thing too.
Don't lie to me.
I like the beginning with James Cromwell. Sir James Cromwell is the father of.
As in the credits,
Mr. Skolnick.
Jamie Cromwell, and Ryan's like, "Is that font off, or am I reading that?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "It says Jamie Cromwell." Oh yeah, he did go by Jamie when he was younger.
Yeah, such a great nerd dad.
Oh, he's the best.
So good.
Yeah, and that's just the cast in this movie is like amazing. Like back in the day, like even John Goodman wasn't a big name, or Ted McGinley or any of those guys. And now it's like, oh my gosh, even like Curtis Armstrong is a fairly big
Timothy
name.
Busfield.
Yeah, Tim Busfield.
That's so
great.
Anthony
McGinley.
Edwards.
Yeah, exactly. And then-
Ogre. No.
Ogre! No, he was the best.
Robert
Yeah.
Carradine.
He's so the best. Oh my god.
Still
Izzy,
one-
did you get sucked into watching Revenge of the Nerds in the later years? I know you have a copy.
Yes. Oh, yes, I have a copy. So my family wasn't really into, like, the raunchy humor stuff.
Yeah.
My
Same.
parents were, like, I want to say they're film nerds, or, like, film snobs, but, like, if it's a choice between watching this and watching Spaceballs, it's Spaceballs every time.
That's totally my movie. I think, like, we saw part of it. Like, I was trying to figure out, actually, because I rented this at the DVD, at a DVD store in Noe Valley, which is a great place, and I will think of the name and put it down, because the guy is so nice, this guy Colin, and he was trying to figure out why. I'm like, okay, this would have been the sweet spot, and I remember watching parts of it on TV.
Yeah.
But I think it's because of that I saw parts, and they were too, like, the raunch kind of humor of it. And he was saying that he's like, I thought the same thing because I called. And he started thinking about it, and he said, "Oh yeah, my mom was a feminist. There's no way I would have watched this movie."
Yeah,
Because we're trying to figure out where he's a little older than me, and he's like, "Why didn't I watch this movie?"
Yeah, so, like, I do remember we watched it. I feel like my dad would never allow us to rent movies because he didn't trust other people's VHS players. They weren't clean, and I think he thought ours was going to get, like, an STD from the tapes or something. I don't know.
That's hysterical. Wait.
We were not allowed to borrow tapes from people.
That needs to be a
weren't allowed
movie,
to
by the way.
rent-
Yes.
Yeah, right.
The new It Follows.
Right? Your player gets an STD. I don't know. It was always a thing.
That is madness.
I love it.
Yeah, so what I'm
Sorry, go
guessing is my dad probably would have purchased it at, like, say, like a Tower Records.
Okay.
We watched it, and he would have gone
R.I.P.
like,
Tower.
yeah, and he would have been like, "Oh, this is raunchy. We're too good for this," and then probably gifted it to his brother for Christmas.
Oh wow. See, I have very vivid memories of my dad. Me watching movies, he comes in, most likely doing the laundry, walking through, watches it for 5 seconds, gives the I disapprove mouth sound, yeah, and then just walks away, and I'm just like, it's funny. It's funny. Stop judging me.
Yeah, I couldn't ask that of my parents. They were like, it's my job, so no.
Yeah.
They didn't say it that way.
Yeah.
They had heavy accents.
But
didn't speak like
do
Valley
your parents.
girls.
Do your parents.
I am
freak out.
terrible at doing my mother talks like this. She's very smart.
Very breathy.
She's very breathy.
What
Wow.
are you
Sounds
doing out of
fantastic.
kitchen?
No, yeah, she doesn't sound like Natasha from Boris and
I-
Natasha. Thank you. But thank you. It's fine.
yeah.
So
Speaking of cultural stereotypes, let's talk about Revenge of the Nerds.
Takashi, you say?
Yeah, Takashi's.
So okay, very very important. All right, so as I started and then I stopped myself because it's just so easy to talk about so many things. Steve, 5 years old. Me, 13 years old. Polina, 40 something. For
Let's not. A lady never
Notice-
reveals her age.
You notice I stopped in the middle of it. So what's kind of important here is that I want to recognize that this movie will do the following: portray rape. 2.
Indeed.
As a positive, as a positive romance, as a positive
Yes.
way to get a girl.
As the main romance of the film, yes.
okay,
Yeah.
wait. Let's just pause here. Is it rape if she's excited about it?
Well, here's an important question.
After the fact.
I
you're
think it's at the very least a violation to pretend to be somebody else.
I mean, it's an inappropriate sexual act, but is it really a rape? Because she's not even that disappointed
I went
after the fact.
I went into the Wikipedia article and
I don't
it
even
said
know if
rape
I
by deception.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's catfishing nowadays.
Yeah, she's got
Well,
catfish.
it depends on what.
But
don't
it's
know what
like bodily catfishing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
I don't know, but again, like
Well,
she's
computers
not,
weren't as advanced back then.
she's not unhappy.
How
Like
dare you.
even when she finds out.
I guess, but I mean, you know, there's a lot of ways that people
Oh, it's completely
process,
wrong.
like, an act of sexual violation that isn't, not. I'm gonna.
Okay, we'll leave.
But
We'll
leaving
leave that
aside,
relationship
yeah,
out of it.
leaving-
There's also Gilbert and Judy's relationship. That's
which
very
is so
wholesome.
sweet. Yeah.
What is wrong with these cats?
All right. Well, the cats decided to intervene this conversation about rape or not rape. So I think it's
Yeah.
good. I think it's good for everyone involved.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, cats.
It was interrupted by pussy.
And we earned our E rating.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll be here all week. Ticker waitress.
So here's the thing. Potentially, okay, so awkward beginning of physical relationships, homophobia, racist slash homophobic. Wait, I can't even get into my list about it because it's just everything.
Oh, it's all of them.
It touches everything.
All the stereotypes, including jock standards,
Most of
Yeah.
them.
and most
and
nationalities.
and
A lot of nationalities.
Yeah.
and not acceptable javelin.
This is
javelins.
This is an extremely polarizing movie because in the 80s it's just your average, not average, it's your, well, according to Rotten Tomatoes, above average, sex comedy of
Yeah.
sorts, but I will tell you from my own perspective, this was, okay, I recognize the problems of it.
I think we all
The
do.
younger person
yes.
that made this movie become a piece of my my memories, well, edited on television, so a lot of that got filtered out for me. In addition to that, shock, I'm gonna...
Well, that was the big thing. I mean, that was a big genre in the 80s.
huge.
Like, I'm going to accept it. I don't feel like my 40, watching it at, somewhere in my 40s for the first time is like a good experience, like is an accurate experience of this movie. And so,
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna share something with you guys. I'm a nerd.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
really?
So to me, I didn't speak.
She says wearing an algebra t-shirt.
Yeah. So,
Shut up. Okay. So yeah, when I was younger, I thought football players would be assholes. I thought cheerleaders would be kind of bitchy. and I would find my people eventually. And that's actually kind of something that I learned from this movie. I would find my people eventually.
Yeah, like when I was watching it, obviously I was entirely too young, but it was one of those things like when I started getting to junior high and high school, and it was like, oh, because I focus more on academics and stuff, but I also played basketball and stuff, so I was a little bit in both worlds.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously a little reductionist, but it sort of has to be.
At the same time, it's like, I got called nerds. I wore glasses and stuff like that. It's like, and I was on like academic team, the academic Olympiad. And
Hey, don't brag, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, and I was also.
I was a prize-winning.
Yeah, but then it was like, okay, everybody in high school is a bunch of fucking idiots because they're teenagers. Teenagers are idiots.
Yes. Hormonal idiots.
Unless they're listening to this podcast, then they're awesome. Because they're well,
they're sophisticated.
More mature than their peers, that's for sure.
Totally.
But then it was like, okay, I go to college. I'll find my people, find my nerds, find my jocks, whatever. And I was a little disillusioned when I actually went to college and find out, you know what, nerds and jocks can get along.
Yeah, it's not like this movie. They can live. And also, it takes much longer to house remodel than this movie.
Apparently, yeah.
Hey, by the way, it's our first remodeling montage.
I wrote that down in my notes. Yes,
oh, yeah.
Of course, there's a montage.
You got to put one foot in front of the other foot down.
We may have watched this movie a lot.
You guys. No.
So you also, I mean, this is like a shock humor kind of thing. But on the other hand, yes, it has a bunch of really wildly inappropriate jokes, but they don't signal anybody out.
Okay.
And, it's not like it's all gay humor, or it's all black guy humor, or it's all naked chick humor. They hit everybody pretty evenly.
What the fuck is a thrush?
Nobody's safe in this. Like, even, like, the cool kids and all of that.
Right.
And, like, I don't know, to me that makes it funnier overall, because nobody's safe from any of the humor.
Yeah, I mean, they make fun of themselves, they make fun of...
And everybody's got consequences of some sort.
That is a really good point, except for the inappropriate sex scene.
That does weirdly have consequences that he wasn't expecting. It's not necessarily
Which is that
negative.
he now has a girlfriend.
Yeah, but she's a horrible human being, so he's going to have to reconcile with that later.
Yeah, that's what the sequel.
But more later. Like,
I mean, this is the other thing, too. Yeah. She's horrible, and now he's stuck with her.
Because of his sexual practice. Also, weirdly, if you think about sex a lot, you're going to be good at it. That's the takeaway.
That's definitely one thing I learned from this movie.
So I'm trying to imagine people. Well, first of all, if you're listening to us, we kind of dive into it, and with apologies about going straight into the big points and not actually the plot itself. But let's be honest about this movie. Who doesn't love a good revenge movie?
That's the thing. I found a revenge satisfying. I mean, and I think I would have found it more satisfying if it didn't involve like.
For the record, I said a good revenge movie.
Yeah.
If you actually cut out the certain parts of the revenge. Okay. So, them getting the revenge on the jocks.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
And it does not, so...
Oh my god, the liquid heat. So basically put liquid heat in on their jock straps.
Yeah. And then, of course, it has to happen in a hilarious way. They're at football practice, and all of a sudden, it's just John Goodman trying to rile them up. Oh, God! No!
And it's really funny watching them slowly, like, it kind of hit everybody, like, slower and slower, and, like... just kind of keeps going.
It just keeps like circling this drain.
Yeah, exactly. and then he says, your favorite
line. Favorite line. I forgot to practice.
And he doesn't, like, I love how John Goodman, like, wherever he is, he's not there at all. Like, he's just says a bunch of stuff, doesn't listen to anything react to anything going on. And so while he is giving this, it's the most ridiculous thing, because he's giving this speech, but then they're clearly like squirming and falling on the ground. Doesn't stop, doesn't question, and finally is like, go take a shower, and then he says, I forgot to practice. It was just so genius. It's like, he wasn't like, that's weird. I guess we can't practice today, or whatever.
Would you ever get riled up by something and realize, oh crap, I forgot to do what I was going to do?
Yeah, totally.
Yes, I've totally been so excited about something that I forgot to do the thing. Yeah.
Or I'm so excited to go somewhere, and it's it's on my way home, and I end up on the, instead of getting on BART to go do the thing, I end up on Muni at home, like,
crap.
I was wait. Why am I not at the thing I've been excited about for like 24 hours?
It's called autopilot.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like I'm supposed to be at the Fox Theater right now. Why
So
am I home?
I watched this with Ryan. It was really funny. I promised him that I'm like, honey, can I quote you on the podcast for that? His impression of this movie, because again, he watched bits and pieces of it, like Polina, but never actually sat down to watch it all the way through. And at the end of it, he goes, "That was a horrible movie morally."
Yeah,
But I'm like, but you thought it was really funny, right? He's just like, yeah. And I'm just like, yeah, there are such great parts that if you cut out
Yeah.
the morally...
I think that's the
Yeah.
thing. I couldn't. That was my hardest
But-
thing. Is I couldn't find it funny. But I think a lot of it is that this is a terrible time to watch this movie and a terrible age to watch this
It really is. And the scene that really sticks out for me with regards to that,
Yes.
the panty raid.
Okay. Okay.
And it's not just the panty raid going through, grabbing the panties
Yes.
and being chased off and all that by the naked women who are
Yeah.
just getting ready for bed, and
Yep.
now are suddenly dozens of men running around the house stealing their undergarments.
Yes.
It's the fact that simultaneously they're also putting security cameras
Exact-
all over the
I thought
the dorm.
And that's the thing
or
I was kind of
sorority.
excited about, because the revenge fantasy, because I too, weirdly, I'm a nerd. I was into stuff other people I know.
What is going on?
I just felt like I felt finally close enough to share that with me. And I was lucky because I did find some of my people in high school. Some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But also really in college. But, it's like that was obvious. That was going to happen. And movies, there were a lot of movies like this. But I think I was like, so I started really getting into the revenge part of it. And then
Right.
I was like, because, I felt that way. There were
Yeah,
kids who
vengeance,
made
yeah.
fun, bullied me and made fun of me and
Right.
stopped being my friend.
Yeah.
But then yeah, it's like, then the like the way they did it,
Yeah.
like, was
Yeah.
so depressing and
Well,
like,
it's a lot in the vein of like a real vengeance movie. Like
yeah.
it's almost to the point where if the beginning had been a little different, like instead like, oh, they got thrown out of their apartment, it was, I don't know, the father, Sir James Cromwell, was killed by ogre, and then his dying
yeah.
words were "Avenge me!"
Yeah.
And then that was part of it. Then it'd be like, okay, I can kind of see where they're coming from, but
You know
Yeah.
what? Backing up. This is kind of important. No. This is very important. You talk about, it's because what is it? Anthony Edwards. He is Gilbert. So Gilbert. After the big time thing of them deciding to strike back, what they did tonight requires an immediate retaliation. Looking back, they went to the fraternity and they were pretty much basically trying to scare the hell out of them, but also implying that, if you want to be one of us, you're going to have to fuck a sheep.
Yeah.
So eventually they get to
And
the
then
point where
tar and feather them.
they tarred and feathered. Well, they didn't tar and feather them. They just feathered them because if they tarred and feathered
I say
them,
they're
they'd be
covered in
dead.
like honey or something.
Yeah,
like
okay,
that.
honey and
Yeah,
feather.
Yeah, so
Yes.
they did
That
the
is true.
basic stuff. So like small prank here, small prank back. But eventually it gets to the point where the alpha betas are so also they get their own fraternity.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap, I know they burned something. If it's a burned cross, I'm gonna be super upset right now. And then fortunately it was just nerds on fire. I'm like, oh, okay.
They did a
Wait,
really
is that
good
better?
job with that.
Not
Yeah,
really.
that was really well
really,
constructed. Like,
really
it was
well. I
legible
feel
with
like
the fire.
Yeah,
I really
Exactly.
feel like one of the people in that fraternity really needs to think about how much time and effort
Yeah.
and beauty and attention to detail he spent with those nerds. The font was
you guys,
really nice. The letting was great. I mean, everything was perfect.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
mean-
guys didn't know that Ogre's major was pyrotechnics?
I was gonna say, well, you have pyrotechnics, and someone's got to have like woodshop experience.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, let's keep it fair. The jocks do some pretty amazing stuff too. Like
Yeah.
Yes.
when they're having the Lambda fraternity party
Yeah.
and everybody's celebrating and they're dancing Thriller and getting high as a motherfucker.
Yep.
And then, oh my god, lost
The
train of
pigs.
thought. The pigs, yes.
Yeah.
All these pigs come in.
Yes.
There's like a dozen pigs. You can't just like
And there were
go down to the
good
store and pick
sized
those
pigs.
up. You
Like
know?
there was enough of them that they would pose a problem, but
Yeah. No, see, while you guys were all nerds, I was an Aggie.
yeah.
So, sweetie, if I wanted to get a dozen
Yeah, so
medium-sized pigs, south more than likely,
They
to
were
run
about
through a
100
party.
pounds. No,
How would I
150
transport
pounds
them?
a piece. Oh, you straight up like need a pickup and a horse trailer, because like one pig I've seen a 50-pound pig take out a goddamn car window.
And if I wanted to wrangle them into a door to get into a party and run amongst people...
you're gonna need like some board. You're gonna need multiple people with boards to kind of guide them in, because pigs are strong and they're smart, and like, I mean, you're gonna need some people with like some animal experience handling things. Also, keeping them quiet until they enter that room. Pigs are fucking screamers. You want to make a bunch of noise? Pick up a pig. Just hold it. They should make these noises that, like, a cat being skinned alive by an angry baby couldn't make.
Well, so sorry. Definitely louder than Thriller.
Definitely.
Also, I imagine it was the just the sound of the movie, but if seriously, like, you're playing Thriller and then you hear a record scratch and then, like, you know, whoever was doing the soundtrack in the moment, fantastic.
Yeah. So that was Agricultural Minute, brought to you by by All Sugar Mountain Dew.
Yeah, real sugar throw.
Yahoo indeed.
So, did young Steve ever think about, you know,
vengeance all the time.
Vengeance, okay, yeah. Well, of course, again, it's one of those things where it's just like,
I thought about vengeance constantly.
Eventually come up and, you know, but right now everyone's just like, oh my god, they did this, and there was, you know, the thing with Betty, and that's so horrible. I'm just like, no, the Alpha Betas are horrible garbage people who really needed somebody to just kind of step on their necks.
Well, yeah, because basically they get there and they're like, the whole, I mean, sort of, the world they set up is this idea that basically jocks have all the control.
Jock supremacy.
Yeah, it's just the reflection of like a windshield's going like right in my eye every time.
Thank you.
Sorry.
And no problem. Yeah, that they set up this. So basically, what happens is they burn their house down, and the solution is to
specifically the Alpha Betas burn down their own house.
Yes.
Hold on. Fireball! Fireball!
Have you guys ever done that? It is fucking awesome.
Just don't do it at your curtain.
Yes,
you do it outside.
Yes.
See? That's a nerd. A nerd knows where to do it.
Yeah,
right.
And then they watch. As the curtains go, like, just watch. Just they're watching. Which is not the right thing to do.
I mean, they may not know where the fire extinguisher is, and if they pee on it, that will only make things worse, because they were really drunk at that point.
That's a good point,
Good point.
You saw them diving down the stairs into that little kiddie pool.
That's not
they
so
weren't really thinking, But, and so basically then everyone has to move. First off, they kick far more people out of the freshman dorm.
Oh, yeah.
Then they are replacing with the jocks.
As they're sleeping and still in their beds, they just kind of bust down the door, go through like a SWAT team, and like start hucking people out.
I was
windows.
like, there's no way a modern school would allow, like, there would be a lot of very angry parent phone calls. And so then they have to, they basically get set up in the gym like a refugee center.
Yeah. So, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
5-year-old Steve, totally fucking down for living at the gym, because there's a basketball court mere steps from my bed.
This is 5-year-old Steve. He's already like 5'7".
I was wondering.
No, you were 5'7" when you were in the 5th grade, though, right?
I was 5'10", 6th grade. Yeah.
So so like you would have been the size of like a 2nd or 3rd grader in like kindergarten.
Still trying to get to 5'10". Not happening right now.
Yeah,
maybe
we might
year.
have to have some conversations. That may not happen, but it's okay.
Do I have to stop taking my vitamins?
You don't have to stop taking your vitamins, but you may want something else to happen.
Heels, I'm out.
Yeah.
Or platform shoes.
Suddenly being 5'10" isn't so nice. You know what? You have to buy. You always have to buy all your clothes, like all your pants long. It's a pain.
That's okay.
That is a pain. Beds.
All right.
Anyway.
Yeah, and by the way, for those of you out there, because it's an audio thing, Steve is 6'8".
Yeah.
He is 2 inches taller than your door frame.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know about my door frame?
Well, door frames are 6'6". That's standard.
It's usually the standard,
Sweet.
Hey.
Yeah.
And that was brought to you.
What do you mean? I'm not a nerd.
Fun fact.
Side question. I was talking about football players and cheerleaders. Did this give you any conceptions of young Steve? Does it give you any conceptions about fraternities and sororities?
Not really. It was one of those things, like, obviously just watching this movie being my only basis for it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I can't be in college unless I'm part of a fraternity. Kind of, that was the impression I got, because every single character like had to have a fraternity,
and that was in every movie
stuff.
too.
Nobody
was just randomly living in dorms.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I went to college, and I was like, oh, this isn't a thing. I can just be a student and not have to, I don't know, gangbang sheep or butt funnel beer or anything. Yeah, I mean, it's purely my choice.
Or masturbate in a circle.
I mean,
you
everybody likes a good game of hooky cookie.
Yeah, but was this a deleted scene that I missed?
It's just in other movies.
Whatever you do, Google it.
Yeah.
You know what? But use your work computer.
Yeah, exactly. And make sure that your boss is like right behind you. Or maybe the head of HR.
Be like, hey, I gotta Google this thing.
I heard it's delicious.
Slow down, I'm writing this down.
O-O-K-I-E.
Also, in this movie has one of Steve's favorite quotes of all time. I mean, technically,
You'll have to be more specific. There's some
John Goodman's redemption speech.
Oh, the speech. Oh my God. Okay, so John Goodman in this movie, every scene he's in is fucking amazing. Even like when they're having the Greek council games or whatever.
Yeah.
The Greek tournament, whatever it is.
The homecoming thing.
Yeah, the homecoming, and like the dean is up there like, and the winner of these blah blah blah. You can see John Goodman just sitting in his seat playing around with the gun, like spinning around, like aiming at people and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's one of those like little things. I'm just like, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But yeah, the final speech, like when the nerds have, spoiler alert, won the games and gained control of the Greek council.
They extracted their revenge.
Yes, the revenge is sweet. And then he basically goes to the guys like, I want to see you and the other girls in the locker room now. And then he's like, hold on. Scene.
Get into character. Good. Okay.
All right. When you were a babe in your crib and your father looked down on you, he said, one day my son is going to be a man. And, hold on, sorry.
I'm like wrapped.
No, I'm just waiting for it.
Sorry, like, it was like, oh God, how's it going? My son will be a man. You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds. Nerds! Well, if I was you, I would do something about it. I would get up and redeem myself in the eyes of my father, my maker, and my coach! Let's get those nerds! Nerds! What are we waiting for? Thank you.
And see, it's very important to note that I was waiting. Do it right. Say whipped. You have to say whipped.
Whipped.
By the way, his
right
actual wedding vows. No.
Yeah, exactly.
It was weird on the beach, but you know.
So when you were a babe in your crib, and your father looked down on you and said, one day, you're going to marry a man.
But what's fantastic, though, is
I wanted a nerd. Oh, this is so
on the other side of that, you also have... after they tore down the house, they come back to the pep rally, celebrating the jocks, hooray, hooray, hooray. Yeah. And you've got Gilbert and Lewis giving their own speech, and I just remembered that. I'm just like, wow, this is first of all, that campus was tiny. That is the tiniest pep rally in the history of pep rallies.
Dozens of people.
Yeah.
But a very large carnival.
Yeah.
That was a huge carnival, yeah.
And 2 fraternities and a sorority.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's called like 10,000 people applied for like their first year. We had no sororities or fraternities.
But we didn't have them either, and we didn't have carnivals that large.
You know what's surprising about this movie is that it's supposed to be the #1 like tech school and or computer program in there, and the thing is they have this big football program as well, and I'm just like, so well it's Arizona, so
yeah, University of Arizona is where they like.
But it's supposed to be the biggest computer program in the supposed to be the best computer program in the country, so you would think that they would treat the computer people better, like you think that they would. It's like
the 80s though.
Yeah.
So there is okay. So what I was getting at though is that you got the jocks, you got the nerds, but you also have this rousing speech at the end, and of course it has to just have that beautiful end coming where it's just like anyone who's ever felt stepped on, picked on, come join us because we will it'll never be okay until nerd persecution ends.
Yeah.
Time after time. Who else? How can you not have a moment like that and not feel like this is okay? Fine. Didn't Mighty Ducks 2 end the same way?
Mighty Ducks. Oh,
I have to
ABC
say,
Iceland?
I
Queen.
felt stirred.
Yeah.
I was like,
You were stirred?
yes. Because I was like, yes, this was the lesson of college. Is like, I can only be myself.
Well, okay.
It's never gonna work any other way.
Okay, the amazingness of John Goodman, but you also have to recognize the amazingness of UN Jefferson.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
And the fact that, as Lewis...
Going
Going back to that whole, that's not great, looking back with the, retrospective lens of just UN Jefferson, the fraternity president of Lambda Lambda Lambda, showing up to stand up to John Goodman, and it's just like, hold it right there, coach. Yes, let's break out the... Oh my god, it's just as bad as Lewis putting on Swing Low.
Oh,
yeah. No, is the movie being tongue-in-cheek, or did it really do that? I'm talking about when UN Jefferson came out at the pep rally.
Oh.
Not,
Yeah.
I'm just like,
No,
oh.
I think the whole thing is tongue in cheek. This whole
totally
thing is just making fun of
ridiculous.
how ridiculous all of these institutions are.
Bless
Yeah.
you. Okay,
Including, including,
it's a comedy.
yes,
we're gonna go with that then.
This movie's meant to be a comedy.
Mhm.
This is not meant to be a drama. This is not meant to be like a political thriller.
But wait, nerd persecution.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing is that like nerds aren't these guys.
Yeah. And it's funny now too, seeing all the like references being like, because now it's a badge of honor to say you're a nerd,
nerds are
right?
hip.
Like, and I remember I was watching it, and Lewis, the like uber nerd, has these glasses, and I'm like, oh, those are Warby Parkers.
Oh, like,
like I was gonna say, I was like, these aren't as nice as the right.
Yeah, no, his are much nicer. Mine are not Warby Parker, but yeah, no, I'm totally wearing nerd glasses like at the moment.
They look
So I
amazing
think-
on you, by the way.
I think
Really
I know what
good
you're
glasses.
getting at.
Uh-huh.
You
What
know.
they need to do is a reboot called Revenge of the Jocks.
Exactly.
They actually had that running for a little while, like several years ago. I swear I remember that they were not the remake, because I've heard of the remake, but I'm talking about somebody wanted to do that.
That would be so good. We make it now, and like we could use like San Francisco as the backdrop.
Now, no, this is what
Stanford.
This was my
Hey.
Except
last
that now you're supposed to be a nerd and a jock,
well, no,
right? Because you're supposed to be all like
No, I wrote this down.
like
This
doing
is-
I can do whatever I want.
triathlons. Well, that's
No.
I'm also an adult, so I kind of, as long as I pay my rent, my taxes.
No.
I pretty much
The
can do
bearded
whatever I
guys
want.
with the big glasses and all the
Yeah.
flannel are not running marathons. The
No,
beards
this
get
is
too
true.
sweaty.
This is an
No, they
That's why- that's why
they
they
started running in the
That's why-
70s though, and they
that's
sort
why-
of worked that out. You run in Marin in the cool morning air of Marin.
Yeah, but it's
But-
also, I mean, like, Dad bod is in, so, like, you gotta start it with, like, a guy gets a new job, and we gotta get somebody, like a Marky Mark type, where, like, he's, like, a little bit too fit, like, he doesn't quite fit into his button-up shirt,
Okay.
and he starts the new job, and then everybody's just like...
But what about
They start making fun of him,
programmers?
like, so, bro, you even lift? And so he's like, oh, shit, I gotta, like, stop going to the gym, I gotta, stop hanging with those guys, and it's like, Revenge of the Bros.
But actually, there's programmers.
Oh, damn
So
it, you
where
stole
did
my thing right now.
Where does that go? And like the fact that all
It's
the
the pro-
Amazon,
Well,
Yeah, well-
that's kind of the thing, though, is that we are living in Revenge of the Nerds right now.
Yes.
And that's not great.
the time has come.
If you'll excuse me, I gotta go find the moonwalk.
Yeah. By the way, the Michael Jackson poster that I had that in my room when I was a kid. That was my favorite. I was like, yes.
When we had,
I was kind of obsessed with Michael Jackson. This is before he got creepy. We didn't know, or he was still creepy. We just didn't know.
This
he
was the great
I was-
thing about those days.
I was
We had no
obsessed
idea
with
how
this-
creepy
I was
people
obsessed
were.
with this movies before I realized it was creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the skit, the homecoming skit that they did. I so badly wanted to do that in our high school homecoming
Okay,
skit time.
their homecoming skit was genuinely amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys were talking about the stand-up comedians.
Oh God. So
That's
what,
good writing right there.
How did you like this?
Words are a
Hopefully
little hard
not
to beat,
5-year-old you. Hopefully later you. But like the the relationship part of the movie, because you're talking about like you saw this movie, just bringing it back to manga, but like
to the point of the podcast. Oh, okay.
I don't know if we have a point. It's just we're sort of a loose structure.
Hang on, I'm crying right now. I had a dream.
I know, but then you started working with me.
Sometimes
Don't
reality.
focus well.
Head,
I
put
know.
us down. One of these days we'll turn it around.
So, how did you find the? Surprisingly, there is actually like a lot. There's a lot. Two relationships that are actually quite sort of. There's some meat there.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Anyone who has listened to our podcast will realize that I find love stories where there just happens to be a male and a female in the same room. So there's some real meat to these.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are actual relationships.
Yeah, I mean,
Of sorts.
Gilbert and Judy.
Yes.
Obviously, that's the real wholesome one. Like the
They
meet
have
cute
such
they
a
have in the
sweet-
computer class, and he makes like the little dancing things.
Okay, how?
That was like
Because it was pre-programmed. That's
I know,
the-
I got that. No, I totally got that it was pre-programmed, but the amount of typing that he was doing for that
Just randomly all
was.
over the keyboard
Yeah.
too.
Coding. He's coding, guys.
There's no, you cannot code
Yeah.
that.
Oh, he's coding.
He's not looking at code.
He
I've
can.
seen hackers. That's not how coding
Yeah,
happens.
it's
There's usually
exactly.
some intense like techno music and a lot of
Yeah.
energy drinks and like,
it's usually
spin around
HTML
shots
it's HTML that actually is like gonna stop a nuclear bomb. That's
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
how it
Of
happens.
course.
Markup languages are excellent at stopping nuclear
the stakes are
bombs.
significantly smaller.
it's like
clearly.
oh, I didn't close a div.
Well, clearly it was a totally fake scene because he didn't type for 14 seconds and go, "I'm in."
I'm in. Yeah.
And he also did type for
No, that was later.
and you
right
know
after
it
the
wasn't
first
real
date.
because he didn't type for 13 seconds, compile, and then curse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like,
Damn it,
wait,
where's the
there's
error?
a period that goes one of these places. No.
Oh man, I
where?
forgot a
it's colon.
semicolon. I
Colon,
forgot
not
the
semicolon.
semicolon.
Damn it.
Oh!
There's
I
supposed to
always
be a
forget the
space.
syntax of Visual
It's gonna be
Basic.
buffering for hours.
Yeah.
So yes, Gilbert
So
and
what was the other relationship? Are we talking about?
Betty and
Lamar and his
Oh
boyfriend.
yeah.
Yeah, Lamar.
Oh,
had a
then there's
very
Lamar and his boyfriend.
Yeah.
See, Lamar found his people.
Poindexter and
And Lady
you wanna
Poindexter.
fuck or not?
Not surprising. One of that piece was cut out of the Comedy Central.
Well, wait, including the part where he's like, "Would you rather be a part of a civilization during its ascent or during its decline?"
Yeah.
Is that cut out too?
They didn't cut it out very well, but they actually just have like these really things like, okay, so the part where the alpha betas moon them,
Yeah.
that was very badly edited, but there was
Yeah.
no visual butt, so I just thought that they were just cheering really loudly after
Yeah.
they sang Old MacDonald Had a Farm.
And it works.
No, it didn't, but it worked. It worked, kind of.
It worked in context.
Yeah, so like, okay,
Yeah.
so Gilbert and Judy, and then
Betty and
Lewis.
Lewis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
There's
that one's a little more
another
problematic, but yeah.
There's another major relationship you guys are missing here, and it's not so much romantic, but I think it's, having watched Steve watch this movie a bunch of times, I think it's really the one that he latches onto, is the like father-son relationship between the coach and
Oh
the
my God.
team.
Yes.
Oh.
And actually the father-son relationship between Lewis and his dad.
Yeah,
This
there's
is
a lot
so
of good,
lovely.
strong
Like
dad figures in this, whether they're giving you good information or not. That's the side point. But like, yeah, like Coach is a great father figure to these guys.
yes.
He's an awful human being,
yes.
but
he's
like,
giving
he's
them
doing
terrible
the dad
example.
job.
He
Yeah.
also is way too invested in his sons.
Yeah,
What
he's
is it,
invested in
strange?
every single one of those team members.
And why wasn't he fired sooner when he started like pushing the dean around, literally?
Because the dean
Because
was
it was the 80s.
Because the
right.
dean is also a
dean's
nerd.
afraid. The dean's afraid.
See,
Bear
Coach
Bryant
has a
killed
gun.
3 people at the halftime of an Auburn game, and nothing happened.
Too real, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
Too steel. Too steel.
Wait,
And he won 2 national championships afterwards.
Yeah.
Wait, they let bears into football games?
His nickname was Bear.
Bear Grylls?
I assume his full first name was Bear.
He's a bear who grills. He's on Food Network.
Oh,
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's mostly like fish and berry based, but very
I'm out.
good.
Yeah, but that's really good. Northwest cuisine is
secret is
really,
like-
really in.
Oh, yeah.
The secret is elder smoke. And that was Food Minute, brought to you by...
Important question though, because we also like to look at what do you think happened after the movie ends. How many of the sequels have you seen?
I believe I've seen up to 4.
You've seen all of them too?
But I've only seen like once or twice, like back in
They're
the
not.
early 90s.
Would you recommend them?
There's only like 2. There's like a handful of funny lines.
Yeah.
But
would you recommend them to me personally?
Did you enjoy the first one?
No.
Oh, then absolutely
And
not.
I hate sequels. Why did I even ask this question?
What's funny though is that I watched the 3rd one a lot. And thank you, because for a really long time I've been trying to remember what movie had this like takeoff of Norma Ray that I can't remember. And it turns out it was Revenge of the Nerds #3.
Yeah.
And I did see number 4. It was actually a made-for-TV movie, and it had promotional 3D glasses that you had to go to like 7-Eleven to get.
Ooh.
And then
I remember when those came out.
And
Of course you did.
It also had a scratch and sniff element to it.
Oh, scratch and sniff.
I'm not kidding. It was on
Wow.
Fox.
Wait,
and it's just,
what would have been the
Wasn't one
smell?
of them like
Was
a
it-
fart?
Was it the Next Generation? Is that number 4?
No,
Or is
Next
that number
Generation is
3? That's number
3,
3. Okay.
and number 4 is Nerds in Love. It's about
That's
Goodman's wedding.
it. Okay.
Damn it, we should have done Nerds in Love. No, that's stupid.
Coming next
Future
week.
episode.
Nah.
No, I lived walking distance from a 7-Eleven because we were classy.
Yeah.
I do that now. How dare you?
Oh, this one was great. Like, it was like suburban house, like ranch style house.
Uh-huh.
Ranch style house, 7-Eleven, ranch style house, ranch style house. Like, it was in the middle of just like a neighborhood.
Wow, that's so
Wow.
random.
Like nothing else around. Like just a house burned down and they built a 7-Eleven in its place.
What is the zoning on that?
See,
I don't know, but that's
we
where
had
we used to get our free
Wawas.
slushies
Wawas.
on Halloween because you go in
Loved a
costume and they have
Wawa.
to give you the tiny slushie.
Yes.
Oh, they have to give you a tiny slushie? Yeah,
You
they
go in
didn't do that in
costume.
Wawas. They would give you some candy.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. And like from my house there was a green area with a big creek that cut through it that was between my house and the 7-Eleven. Otherwise you had to like go around like the big road and it was way too long.
Uh-huh.
So we would like tromp through the woods and like through the creek in
Yeah.
like pitch blackness to go to the 7-Eleven on Halloween.
And did you get the 3 glasses then?
No, but I
During the
remember them
Revenge
being
of the-
there and going like, "Oh, that was that movie that I didn't really like."
So
But
what
I
was the
remember-
scratch and sniff? Now I'm obsessed.
I don't remember. I'll have to Google it. But I actually didn't remember until I...
I'm guessing it was something horrible though. Like probably like
Yeah.
at this moment in the scene.
it was.
Well, it
that's
was a
this,
fart
and-
or
Well,
something.
I believe it was... Okay, so if I remember correctly, Stan Gable, who is now a nerd after being turned into a nerd in Revenge of the Nerds 3. Turns out he always wanted to be a nerd, but his parents said you should be a jock and do that. So I think he like breaks his leg, and so they virtual reality into the bachelor party. So when Stan puts on his glasses, you need to put on your 3D glasses, and you have the perspective of Stan. And I think I don't remember what I sniffed.
I was gonna say
This is not helping.
In the reboot, they should do it with beer goggles.
Yeah.
Like 3D glasses, then it just kind of works.
Side question: is
Or
there
X-ray glasses.
a
Yes, beer
Revenge
goggles
of the
are real.
Nerds from the female perspective, or is that like Mean Girls?
I think that's Heather's.
Yeah,
house-
yeah, Heather's is kind of that.
Yeah,
that
Previous
Heather.
episode, please check it out for us.
Yes.
Thank you. Possibly the House Bunny.
Never seen the house.
Oh, with
Bunny.
Anna Faris
The
or
Anna
whatever?
Faris. It's sorority thing, but they're not really
Well,
after
that's
Revenge.
not sorority. That's the Playboy Mansion, isn't it?
Well, she gets kicked out of the Playboy Mansion,
Oh,
and she
oh,
becomes
okay.
the house mother.
I'm gonna save you the effort.
You're okay.
Never watched it.
Oh,
Just
okay.
I just kind of vaguely
Never
remember the
watched
trailer.
I actually have never watched it either. I'm a big fan of just absorbing movies, but never actually watching them. So-
Oh no, you've seen several of the Revenge of the Nerds sequels, so I think
the
you
classics,
actually have.
obviously,
I have.
but-
I have
You
a
have
lot-
seen a lot of these.
Well, you talk about the movie show where you get the behind the scenes stuff. I
Yeah.
used to watch this TV show called Coming Attractions where it was just movie trailers
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
we watched that too.
That was so
And
good.
with Todd Newton.
And we used to, I remember sitting down and watching every Sunday night. Actually, sitting down and watching Ebert and Roper, like
Yes.
movie reviews, and that was like our entertainment. Is just like two people sitting and talking about movies that
Yep.
we obviously haven't seen yet because they haven't come out.
What was that line from The Simpsons? I love it when the one with the glasses argues with the fat tub of lard.
Yeah, pretty much was our favorite thing. We loved that.
And then you go
We're
home
like-
and watch The Critic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we would be like, I bet you he's gonna like it. but the other
Yeah,
one's
that's
not.
the thing.
Like, that
That's
was
on
the
who's
best
gonna
thing
like
about
it
it. And you're
who's
like,
not.
I've never seen this movie. I don't know, but I have decided.
I know nothing about
They
this
don't like
movie.
it.
Yeah.
I must love it. Wait, no.
I have memories as a kid watching the episode where Siskel and Ebert are talking about Carnosaur, which obviously came out like the same year as Jurassic Park, but it's like the Roger Corman like low budget dinosaur like horror movie.
Yeah.
And I think it was Ebert was like, this is the worst goddamn thing that's ever been on film, blah blah blah. And Siskel's like, I actually kind of liked it. It was only original, and I love dinosaurs and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I gotta side with Siskel. I haven't even seen the movie, but it's got dinosaurs. I'm fucking sold.
All right, guys. So I did a little research. The Scratch and Sniff apparently was Kool-Aid's flavored, basically.
Aw, that's a bum. That's a
But
bit
it was
of
a part of a
disappointment.
2-pack.
Uh-huh.
So it was a part of Fox-O-Rama.
Yes.
And so
Definitely
it
on
was a
Fox.
Sunday, Monday night that came with 3D glasses and Scratch and Sniff for 2 things.
Okay.
The Monday one was Revenge of the Nerds 4.
Mm-hmm.
The Sunday one was for a very special episode of Living Single.
If I
We
start-
are living single
What?
in a 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got my girls.
That's all.
Wow.
That was so much better than I even hoped.
I was actually about to say I'm not going to sing the theme song. She jumped in. I'm doing this now.
It's
That was-
on.
That was amazing, Diana.
Oh.
Really. I can't believe we both, yeah.
It was a good show, damn it.
It was such a good show.
Apparently it had 3D glasses and Scratch and Sniff.
Oh my god, I didn't even know.
Wait, was that also Kool-Aid flavor? Because
Yes.
that might be racist.
Oh, yeah.
Boo.
I'm not gonna.
So considering we're not really taking the relationships in this movie seriously, I'm going to get us back on
What?
track.
Yeah, no.
Well, we can.
This is a comedy.
Oh.
Everything should be seen through a comedy lens. That's
Okay.
the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
But that is the point of our podcast.
Yeah.
Is
Not
what do
really.
we
So-
learn romantically? But didn't we just say that we don't have a point? We just have a loose set.
There we go.
Why are you crying again? No.
She tries so hard.
Well, not really. Yeah, I mean, looking back on it, I don't think I really took Lewis and Betty seriously, which is really a shame because that's where the sequels went, their future. But like,
Because they're the best.
wait, I said Lewis? Yeah, I guess. But Gilbert and Judy, so damn sweet.
They're so cute.
They're so damn cute
Oh wait,
together.
I got them confused. They're the ones I
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was like, the other
alright,
one is
that's-
really weird.
I mean,
Did I
that's
get-
your thing.
Did I get their names right? I can't remember.
Well, let's pretend in a world there are no sequels. We don't know how it
Yes,
goes.
Yes,
blah, blah,
that's
blah.
actually what I'd like.
The ending of this movie
Yeah.
ends with the rousing nerd speech, and
Nerds,
then like the
nerds.
London Orchestra version of "We Are the Champions" or whatever, which is amazing.
Yeah,
And you notice
that
they
was
took
good.
it back, by the way, the word nerds, because before it was just chanting to bring them down, but then they decided nerds, nerds,
Yeah.
nerds. They took it back.
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
you got to do. You got to own it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, you gotta take.
That's right.
Go
Online
on.
N-word. And
Yes.
yeah, but like when it's like, you know, doing the orchestra thing and it's like showing all the cast and all that, like Robert Carradine
Yes.
and Anthony Edwards and John Goodman, blah blah blah.
Yes.
I feel like if it wasn't as rousing a speech at the end, that would have been like the part like in Animal House where it was like Gilbert and Judy got married and had like 5 children.
Yes. Yes.
Ogre went on to be a state senator, or, you know, shit
Yeah.
like that. But
course. Coach had 3 DUIs because
yeah,
that's what
Coach, Coach was immediately fired and is serving 5 years in Arizona State Prison, or you know, where it was supposed to be.
Creating a hostile work environment.
The dean is banging his wife.
And he felt that, which is why he was so nice.
Hold on. Banging wife. This is
Yes.
what Steve's future is for the
Stan
coach.
Gable entered the NFL draft and was a second-round draft pick by the Green Bay Packers and won 3 Super Bowls. He died of cocaine overdose at the age of 27.
Oh my god, can we actually take the end of that from Can't Hardly Wait and then just put
Yeah.
it into... 'cause I was like,
Yeah.
why do I feel Stan
Yes.
Gable is going to, like, lose his scholarship? Well, he's probably...
I think he was a senior at the point.
Yeah, exactly. He's a senior, so it probably doesn't matter. Why do I get the feeling that he owns, like, 2 car washes and is doing okay?
So what I'm hearing is we need like a Cobra Kai-esque reboot of the Nerds universe 30 years later.
I don't know. Do we have the budget for the amount of plaid jackets we're gonna need for these guys?
Never.
Oh,
we
Well,
have
half
a
of them
plaid-
won't need
oh, we'll
sleeves.
find it. We'll find a sponsor. We'll find the plaid jacket sponsor.
You know what? I bet most of them could bring it from home.
Oh yeah.
Because the guy who owns 2 car washes is the guy who owns a
I'm gonna
plethora
actually
of
go
plaid jackets,
not with
right?
car washes. I was thinking car salesman.
Oh, I might be thinking of something else entirely then.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I'm thinking of car salesman because car
salesman.
watches is a lot of work. The car
No,
salesman.
see, like, I feel like he could be.
business.
Yeah, I feel like he could have been like successful, and he had one good successful like car wash stand. So then he's trying to franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's a
good
little
point.
overextended, but he's gonna make it work.
That's true.
you know?
So when do you think that Betty and Lewis fall in love?
You didn't even try to finish
Wait,
that sentence.
the exact moment? Like
Yes.
ejaculation, or what are we talking about
Yeah.
here? No.
Sorry, I couldn't resist asking.
when she realized he was better than the jock.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think about 4 seconds after she realized she was raped by a stranger.
Yeah.
But then she was like, oh, well.
But that was actually pretty good.
Wait. Alright, I guess it's kind of cool. Wait.
I guess I'm in love with him now.
Oh my god, I'm in love with a nerd.
that'd be like if you woke up in the morning, you rolled over, and it's like, oh my god, Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
I can work with this.
Wait. Let me assess my options. This is what I'm expecting.
Exactly.
But let's assess our
But
options.
I guess I could do it.
I
That'd be
think-
fine.
I think it's actually more along the lines of when you went to bed, it was with Channing Tatum. When we woke up, it was DJ Qualls. And it was like, oh, this is different. But I mean,
Okay.
I
But
loved you in the new guy.
But how good was DJ Qualls the night before?
Well, see, that's just it. Is
Yeah.
that he's better than who you've been with.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to break this to you, Steve, but in my nerd world, DJ Qualls has the potential to major in computer science and then afford me a very comfortable living.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
exactly.
why it's a difficult choice.
Well,
little
Channing Tatum also has a very comfortable living. I just need to point that out.
If I woke up and Channing Tatum was in bed next to me, my first thought it would be like, oh my god, does Jenna know you're here? And then I realized, oh wait, they're divorced, but I still feel wrong about this.
See, I just wouldn't know because I can't keep track
Of all of the...
I'm like, sure. I wouldn't know.
Actually,
I feel
I'd
awful.
have
My
to
first,
Google it. I'd
my
have
first
to
thought
Google.
would probably be like, do I need to be tested? Do I need my shots?
I'll deal with that later.
21 Jump Street wasn't so bad. Hi. Actually, that's a pretty good one too, where he's the jock and he goes to school,
Yeah.
and the times have
Yeah.
changed.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah, so
So what about the other love interests? When do you think they fell in love?
see, I'll answer my perspective. So with Gilbert and Judy, I think what's really great is that when she comes down during the pep rally, just the way he grips her and kisses her on the forehead, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's their moment right there. He's having his redemption. He's by himself, but everyone comes together. It was Betty who ran to Lewis, and it was Judy that ran to Gilbert. And I'm just like, I'm getting tingly just looking at their nerd love.
Oh.
That's my moment right there. See, I made it real.
I think when they dance together.
Aww.
So how do you think?
But what about
What do
you?
you think
When
happened
do you think
to
they fell in
Booger?
love? Wait. When do you think they fell in love?
Those are great answers. I mean, it's hard to tell when there's like an exact moment. It's more, but yeah, those are definitely real tender moments.
Yes.
I know when Wormser was between the two large-breasted women
Mm-hmm.
and was carrying on conversation about, I don't know, quantum physics or aerodynamics
His
or
major.
whatever.
Yes. I paid attention to the dialogue.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally
Hey,
did too.
that came in really
And,
handy later.
But now it's more of a hobby. And
when was Wormser's
Yeah.
love moment?
yeah, what happens to Wormser? Does he become like the Doogie Howser of aerodynamics or something?
Yes.
Like graduates at like
No, wait, but
16
aerodynamics
and...
is still just his hobby.
Well, he switched to computers. Aerodynamics is a hobby, and if you want to go by
But then
Revenge
he
of the Nerds,
realizes
hold on,
he can combine the two.
Hold on, there's an answer.
hold on. If you want to go with Revenge of the Nerds 3, I can tell you what he does for a living now.
Yeah.
I can tell you what happens in my fantasy world.
Go.
He drops out of college because he realizes that there's a huge market for
Mobile construct.
high-end escorts, and he just becomes like the pimp daddy of like multimillionaire parties.
That is awesome. I was thinking that he would realize that he could combine his two passions and work on aerodynamics simulators.
Sex robots. I got it.
Computer,
Sex
and then
robots.
What is it?
no,
Space
that's
Jam?
his hobby. And then later on, when the technology that becomes his
Sex
whole
robots that
thing.
turn into an
Yeah.
airplane.
But the
Yeah.
first thing, and that's how he actually gets his funding, is because
Because
he's been working
Takashi's
for
uncle
NASA.
is-
Yeah, because he's been So he's got the connections.
Yeah.
It's all coming together.
For the record, Revenge of the Nerds 3, he becomes a gynecologist.
Oh,
makes
see?
perfect sense.
He
Yes.
combines all his loves.
Except for the aerodynamics.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I feel like they're pretty aerodynamic.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
They're designed to reduce friction.
Disgusting
And drag.
total breakdown of death. Really concerning.
That's for the lady moment.
Brought to you by the Panty Raid edition of Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh my! So we've got a love story. We've got the future of our. Do we get Booger?
Yeah, say, Booger,
Okay, what happens to Booger?
I feel like he grows up to basically be the Girls Gone Wild guy. And like makes his big money with those videos, but then it kind of the
And then
empire
they
kind of
all-
comes crushing
And then they
down.
all start suing him.
Yeah, and then he becomes Eli Roth.
Oh, that's like
I like this.
that's like really good. I don't
Wait,
like
wait,
it.
wait,
But
were
it's
they
good.
not the same guy? I swear to Girls Gone Wild guy and Eli Roth. No, I'm just kidding.
No. That's
with you.
Oh shoot.
No.
No. That's Oh god. No, I can't even make the joke. That's Zachary Quinto.
Oh yes.
That's Spock.
He becomes Spock in the reboot. Now.
And also the creepy guy from American Horror Story. A specific creepy
oh
guy.
yes,
Not just all of
that's
them.
the one creepy guy in that
The
whole
Only
show.
creepy guy.
The only one right there.
Yeah,
Ah, jeez.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, guys, this was incredible.
You're welcome.
I thank you so hard right now.
I know.
Thank you guys so much.
This was totally
Really
cool.
good choice. I was very, very happy.
Because there's work to be done now. Work to be done. You got to put one foot in front of the other. Montage is always great.
Oh my god, yeah, it's really that house turned out really, really nice.
Right?
Why they put up wallpaper? Totally unnecessary.
That was-
Why did they repaint? Why did they repaint walls that were a beautiful color?
I don't know about that, but why wallpaper?
It is the 80s.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's true. There was
they
a
probably
lot
put
of.
shag carpet
You
on
pretty much,
hardwood
yeah. You
floors, too.
pretty much. There was a lot of flowers wherever anywhere you went. There was a lot of flowers in the 80s.
A little bit.
To
A
hide
lot
the
of cabbage
asbestos.
roses.
A lot of cabbage roses. A lot of chintz. A lot of. You're right. A lot of cabbage roses.
Wait, what was that second word you said?
Chintz. It's like a type of.
That
fabric.
sounds very offensive,
Yeah.
and I am sure Takashi and his family do not appreciate
Steve,
I
need to
apologize.
keep you around more often because you say the things I don't want to say on tape.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
All right, so thanks to our incredible guests
Yes.
for this fantastic episode.
That was so
Thank
much
you,
fun.
ladies.
And even more importantly, to our listeners, we have an exciting announcement right now.
Mhm.
We're doing our first contest.
Yay!
Yeah, and it's fantastic
Contest.
because Izzy, incredible artist extraordinaire as she is.
Contest.
Hey, I'm trying to sell something here.
Oh, I mean,
Contest.
of course.
So we have these incredible mooncat pins Izzy has created for us,
And they're not just normal pins. They glow in the dark and they have glitter.
they got glitter, they got sparkles.
And they glow in the dark. So they will keep you safe when you're walking home.
I'm
You put them
actually-
on your backpack.
Hey, calm down. If you're gonna keep talking about it, I'm just gonna cancel the contest and keep it. No,
You know,
but
there's not just one. It wasn't like we can have
No, I
we can
did
have
run.
them.
I've got multiple.
yes,
I have a sack of
You don't
them.
have to choose. You can have one, and our listeners can have one.
losers. Okay,
Contest.
so here's what's gonna happen. What you need to do is very straightforward.
Contest.
You can reach us. Quiet montage. So
Contest.
you can reach us by email,
Yes.
contact@heamcast.com.
Yes.
We're at Twitter,
HEAMCast. HEAMCAST.
and we're also on Facebook at Happily Ever Aftermath.
We
And
are.
all you need to do to enter, we're gonna have two of these. You to enter to get your name as part of the drawing. You just need to call us nerds.
Mhm.
Nerds.
Yep.
Nerds.
You can do it once. You can do it twice. You can do it that. You can chant it.
Can I tweet the GIF at you guys?
You can totally
I would
tweet the gift.
appreciate it if you did.
We love. Yeah.
GIFs
Anything.
are the way to communicate on Twitter.
Gifts are the way.
Yeah,
Because
and
a picture says 1,000 words.
But
and
the
you only have
important thing
140.
is, you have to do it to us. You calling us nerds right now does not enter
No,
you into
no.
the contest.
You walking down the street, listening to this podcast and screaming nerds is not gonna help.
It's not gonna get your name in the contest. It makes us feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, we're happy that you...
Because we made you do something.
Because you
Hey,
care, because you listen.
Yes.
It makes us feel powerful.
We'll have a link so you can take a look at the amazingness that is this pin. And where can they take a look at all of your incredible art?
Oh, I have everything in my Etsy shop. It's untidyvenus.etsy.com. That's a goddess who's bad at housekeeping. And you can also find everything on our podcast.
That's everything I learned from movies at eilfm.podbean.com. And of course, you can hit us up on Twitter at eilfmovies. Again, everything I learned from movies. We're on Facebook, Instagram, all the podcatchers. And in September, we're going over Super Sexy Sequel September. So
We are, yeah.
all
Yeah, we
these
are.
wonderful movies that are sequels and sexy.
Are they sexy?
And-
do we have any
and-
guests coming up on
Oh,
those?
we do. Let's see. We have the What Were They Thinking podcast.
Ah, sweet.
There was another one too.
Oh, I think they're doing a giveaway soon.
Yeah, it was the two girls.
How many cups?
How did this get made? No. Happily Ever Aftermath.
Yeah, we're super psyched to be on it.
I know I am.
Too.
Yeah, I am too.
That's gonna happen.
It's
are
gonna
on-
happen.
Spoiler alert, the movie with the highest Rotten Tomatoes score.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. A movie I've actually seen in the theater.
Oh, shit.
So never sober.
Which one will it be? Are you gonna tell them, or are we gonna leave it a secret?
No.
You can find out at
Better-
eilfm.podbean.com.
Mhm.
Ooh, and fun
There's
side
no other way
fact:
to know.
it's a sequel similar with a plot to Revenge of the Nerds Part 2.
It's true.
It's
Ooh.
really scary. Hint.
That's the clue.
That's the clue. All right, so there it is.
They're searching for Curly's gold.
With an electric boogaloo.
Yes.
/ Fallout. All right, so thank you again for joining us. If you like the podcast, please tell a friend, hopefully a good friend.
Or we don't discriminate.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
this is how you become good friends.
Oh!
Make people hate download you.
Hey, numbers are numbers.
It's like a
And you have
magazine
something to talk
subscription. You
about
just kinda
after
deliver.
you each listen to the podcast. And now you have something to talk about, and who knows? You'll learn something about each other.
You know what? Even if somebody listened to this podcast and went, not for me, send it to somebody you don't like, and maybe because they'll like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
If you hear somebody scream nerd really loudly, go say hi to them. Maybe.
Maybe they're listening to the podcast.
Or maybe they have problems. And then you'll make great friends.
Have you listened to Happily Ever After?
Oh my god, do you listen to?
Oh my god.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Movies bring people together.
Oh my god, you gift that to me early in our relationship. When we bonded over Dana Gould.
That's right. Did we just become best friends? Yeah.
Oh, last piece of business, totally
Yeah.
exciting. We are going to have on our next episode
Yes.
a very special guest.
Very special. We don't know where she came from, but weirdly she's right here.
Hold on, I'm going to turn my head slightly. There you are.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No, it's so much pressure.
Yes.
Yes.
Let our wonderful listeners know what we're going to be doing next.
We're gonna watch The Thin Man.
So, Revenge of the Nerds
Yes.
is his.
That's my
This is our his and hers bookend special. Thin Man and Revenge of the Nerds. I am so excited, and we're introducing Diana to
Is
the
this
Thin
the-
Man series.
Yeah, is this gonna be the oldest movie you guys have done on your podcast?
Oh,
yeah, I
yeah.
think it has been 1934. I think
Did they make movies before that?
it's
They
pre.
made movies
It's
about
actually
movies.
pre-code. It's a pre-code movie.
We will never
Yeah.
do Birth of a Nation on this show.
Yeah, you don't have
Probably
to.
not.
What about Chaplin? Was he? No.
Yeah, I actually would love to do the kid, but I think
You
that
should
was
do
great.
Hell's a Poppin'.
That is a great one. Anyway,
Is that like Apes a Poppin'?
Sort of.
Okay. So-
don't know why you should go rent it. and
Find
see.
out next week.
Yeah.
So the uninitiated, it's called The Thin Man.
It's called
The
The Thin
Thin
The
Man.
Thin Man. Thank you very much.
And it's part of a series.
Okay.
And it is
It's
black and white.
1934,
Okay.
so it
1934.
50 years bookends the
It's
the
true.
movies.
It's exactly 50 years before Steve's movie.
That's right.
Just like his wife. Wait, no.
And probably 50 points higher on the Rotten Tomatoes score too.
Yeah.
You don't know. I gotta say, we'll talk about it then when it comes up. But very modern script. Like
Mhm.
they always talk about movies being ahead of their time.
Mhm.
You're gonna be surprised at like kind of how quippy this movie is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm a blank slate.
It's gonna be great.
I think
All right.
it's such a great movie.
All right.
It's so much fun.
Well, until then, thank you so much, and
Thank you.
that's all we got.
Yeah, enjoy.
Thank you.
Bye.
You got to put one foot
In front of the other.